Morning chaps, we are on our way up to see Hannah and we've got some extra chaps in the back. Yeah. Right, to Birmingham. I've never actually been to Birmingham before. I've been through Birmingham, like changed trains at Birmingham, but that's it. And the reason we're going there is because that is where BBC Gardeners World Live is held at the NEC up there. And that's what we're going to see Hannah for, is to build her garden. I don't know if you remember when we went to choose the vegetables at that big, like, plant heaven warehouse place. Well, this is what that was all for. So we are going to be putting her garden together over the next 5 days. Okay, we are here. We're just looking for gate 5, straight over again. Yeah, it's not as easy as it seems to be. That one. Yep. I think. Keep going round.
God, it's enormous, isn't it?
It's absolutely vast. Keep going. It is huge, but we're looking for Weatherspoons, which is always a always a turn up for the books. There it is.
Where?
So this is us.
Is it this one?
This is it.
The floral market.
Floral market. Yeah, that's what she said was the closest entrance.
Right, okay.
And can I see her? Yeah, just park in there, I guess. There she is.
Hello.
Hello. Right, I have been delivered and the plants have been delivered, the extra ones that we had to bring, and Mum is on her way back down south. This is a bit alarming though. I'm supposed to be arriving for the planting section and the contractors haven't even finished their basic garden build yet, which is slightly alarming, and they're being pretty obstructive. So the only thing that Hannah and I can really do at the moment is try and mock up where the plants are going to make some decisions early, because if they're not going to be finished at like lunchtime today, which they're supposed to be, and they're nowhere near finished, yeah, we need to get ahead of the game here, otherwise disaster. Okay. Man, that was a frustrating day. Back at the hotel, showered because I was absolutely covered in mud because it's been raining and windy all day and we've been crawling around on the floor. But yeah, really frustrating day. Obviously, like I said, I was supposed to be coming up here to like hit the ground running with planting, because I know it sounds like it wouldn't take that much time planting, but arranging plants for something like a show garden just takes ridiculously long and nothing actually gets planted. Like a couple of bits, if their pots are too large, you take them out of the pot and put them in like the temporary soil inside beds or wherever you're planting them. But most of the time they're still in their pots. So you have to get all the levels right, because obviously not all the pots are the same size. You've got to get all the levels right. And then you have to lay all the plants out so that the tops of the pots are all at exactly the same level before you then cover it all with compost. Covering with compost and not snapping anything is different. So it takes a really, really long time, even beyond the bit where you're trying to work out the layout and the design and all that kind of stuff. Because however well, like, Hannah's prepared her design, what she actually ends up with on the day and what plants we've got and their sizes and all the rest of it, and how much flower they've got on them, it is going to change. So anyway, the thing is that the contractors are, I don't even have words for them. They're rude and slow as anything. And it's not like they're running behind because they're working really hard and it turns out like the job was bigger than they thought it was going to be and all that kind of stuff. They spend like not even 2/3, like 4/5 of the time just standing there like thinking about what they're going to do next. Like, it's damn simple. You're just laying some sleepers. I've done so many sleeper gardens in the past. It does not take that much time to think about. Anyway, I'm not going to rant about them any longer. The biggest thing that's on my mind at the moment is that I've got to get up at like 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Where I'm staying is like slightly outside of like the NEC, and Hannah and Liam are very kindly coming to pick me up in the morning. But when Mum dropped me off here earlier for me to check in, the lady was like, "Oh, are you having breakfast?" Yes, I've ordered my breakfast to come in the room and everything. And she was like, "Oh, what time do you want it? It opens at 6." And I laughed. I was like, "Oh well, I won't be there at 6, you know." And it turns out I am going to be there at 6. So yeah, I'm glad they have an early breakfast, but so I'm getting up at 5 tomorrow morning. So yeah, I'm going to go to sleep and hope that tomorrow is a less frustrating day and we can actually crack on with something. Night, chaps. Just on a bit of an emergency run to get some Origeron. Hannah is returning the trolley. Successful, oh yeah.
Yep.
And we're back just in time to witness the delivery of the centrepiece of this little kitchen garden.
Ready?
Yeah.
Turn around and look pleased.
My nails match, guys.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun. Come on, do it.
Oh, you can.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look how floofy they are. I might see if they want to go in my pond. They're fucking eating the grass. Now's not time to chow down.
These little chaps would not fit in your pond, Hannah.
Oh. Cheers.
This is very deserved.
Some clear spell developing and a chance maybe just the odd shower as we head through to tomorrow morning. But it is going to be a milder night with those temperatures down to 10 degrees Celsius. Through tomorrow, it's not going to be quite as wet, but there's still the risk of seeing a few showers mixed in with some sunshine. So more sunshine and showers to come through this weekend with the temperatures in the mid to high teens.
Yellow. What else do I have left? Oh, we've got the very...
So you've got a red and yellow down there.
We've got a red and then another red. That's a nice chunk of chard as well, that.
Yeah.
The camera's on, you know. Come on. You'll have to time lapse this one.
Come on.
Wow, that yellow looks good, isn't it?
Big relief this morning, guys. We're actually getting on with some planting. Only 2 days slower than we thought we were going to be. We're starting with the vegetable patch. This garden is divided into 4 like separate patches, and one of the larger ones is a vegetable area. And we're having to do quite a lot of chopping and changing and adjustment as we go, because some of the plants were damaged in transit and some of them just aren't looking that good. So we're having to do quite a lot of thinking on our feet. Bed 1 complete. And section 2 has been laid out. Not planted yet, but laid out, and I'm pretty pleased with it. This is like the pond shady area, so lots of ferns and shade-loving plants. We've got some astilbes in there and things. And just fill up the pond. And that will be 2 sections pretty much complete.
Right, okay, that's complete.
And an element of the 3rd section of the garden, which are these fantastic grey oyster mushrooms from Cayley Brothers, have just arrived. Now we've just got to keep them alive while we infill the rest of the garden.
What are we going to do for water room?
Don't know. Really don't know. We have finished. That was a long day. 2 really long days. But it looks amazing. But I will show you what it looks like. Oh, my lips are so sore. Sorry about me looking a bit strange. It's been so windy that we keep licking your lips, you know, and then it's like... what was I saying? Yeah, Hannah's garden is finished. But we're all too tired and fed up of looking at it to show you. So I will show you in the morning when she's done her like bit of uncovering the, oh, I'm pointing the wrong direction, uncovering the oven and all of that kind of stuff. So it's looking its best in the morning, because right now I just need to go and have a pint, to be honest.
Yeah, that's great. I think 2 of them are going to be okay tomorrow.
Something else we've got to deal with in the morning is we've got so much rubbish to move. Yep, it's a 5 a.m. start once again. I'm not getting used to it. It's too early. But I tell you what, one of the things that has made getting up this early slightly less awful is the breakfast. So I haven't filmed in the breakfast hall because, like, awkwardness, because there's other people trying to have their breakfast as well. But I mean, it's one of those ones that, like, you dream of as a kid, where there's like, God, I can't even open my eyes. It's like every kind of cereal you could ever imagine in like little boxes. There's fruit, yogurt, muesli, and then there's like all the different types of toast you can have, and a toaster conveyor belt, you know, the one where you put it in and then you just wait for it to drop out the bottom. There's pancakes, golden syrup, crumpets, all of the juices in those little like juice things where you tip up the dewberry, and then on top of that you get a fried breakfast. So it's a really good breakfast. But I've got to tell you, it would be the kind of breakfast that you would enjoy at peak at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, not at 6:15 in the morning. But yeah, because there's no other food, like I don't have any way of cooking anything. All I've got is a kettle, and at the show all I've got is a kettle. It's like my only meal of the day. So I'm going to go and gorge myself for the final time at 6:30 in the morning, because I can tell you, I'm really hoping that tomorrow I don't have to be up this early. Right, let's go. And so this is the finished garden, chaps. It's divided into 4 sections, like I said before, and this is the flowers. It's got geums, foxgloves, lupins, couple of types of salvia in there. There are agapanthus and verbena bonariensis. We've got a pot embedded right in the centre of it just to give a little extra height, even though the foxgloves and the lupins and the verbena, in fact, are all really nice and wavy and tall. The lupins are all different shades, but all generally in the purples, and then we've got the orange geums just dotted through, which match the oven that is at the centre of this garden. Keeping with the colour scheme, we've got an orange and white pot of Thunbergia in the corner, which leads round onto the fruit and mushroom section. So we've got currants, we have got gooseberries, which are looking really, really nice. There is a raspberry under here, all underneath 3 ballerina pear trees, and then dotted amongst them underneath are these absolutely fantastic little Hessian sacks of joy, which are the grey oyster mushrooms. They are looking really fantastic and gives it a really like woodland feel, and that leads on to the strawberries at the end of the bed. Doesn't that look delicious? Yeah, so they tail round into the point of this bed and lead round into the sort of allotment-y area, which starts here with the rhubarb. And we have lettuce. There's a little row of artichokes in here. There's actually an artichoke on that one. We have got beans climbing up a little frame here. They're the really pretty two-tone flowered beans. There's a few marigolds dotted around, some tumbling tom tomatoes. There is a blueberry in this pot here, which kind of mirrors the pot on the other side that had the salvia in it, complete with blueberries. There is basil, and of course there's some chard. A whole like bright light selection of chard and a couple of courgettes in the end. There is a cucumber in a pot, just freestanding on the bit of patio. Again, with a cucumber on it, looking a lot better than mine does at home. And then we move round onto the water area, which has got the pond and the little frog house and astilbes and ferns and some red leaf sorrel in there. And that, chaps, is the garden. There's been a development.
A disaster.
A disaster. Well, a minor, we don't know how big a disaster it is. They're coming back. Okay, so what happened was we went to Wetherspoons to wait for the assessors. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. We weren't downing the pints. And then we got a call over there because the assessment time was 11:10, as I said. And we got a call over there saying they're here. It turns out we had the wrong time. Somewhere there's been a miscommunication. Anyway, I think they're just coming back. So I'm going to get out of the way. I'll just be here. Yeah. There they are, approaching. Good luck, Hannah. So yeah, gardens are judged at BBC Gardeners World Live, and these are Hannah's assessors. There's 5 of them come to check out the garden. And then we've got about 4 hours to waste. We're absolutely knackered and falling asleep in Wetherspoons. We've given up. We've given up.
Yes, we have.
Waiting to find out the results. Cheers.
Share my space. I think that's really lovely, isn't it? We can all learn a lot from that. Share my space. And that shared space can be with inviting people in to join you.
The next one is Hannah Reid, Flora and Flavour, Silver.
Are you happy?
Yeah. Considering I'm misjudging. I'm so embarrassed. That woman saved us with that. We can see out there.
A final water, and then we're going home. But we'll be back tomorrow, of course.
Back tomorrow for round 5. Ding ding.
Okay, that's my last breakfast had. Actually, it was quite good this morning. So it's one of those ones where you've got like all the, I told you the other day, I'm obsessed with the breakfast, but it's just like all the stuff you can choose. And then you get a full-on fried breakfast as well, which by that time I'm absolutely stuffed. But you know, force it down. This morning I just asked for 2 sausages and I made a sausage sandwich and it was absolutely peak. So I've been missing out there. Anyway, I'm just looking out the window. Look at the view out the back of this hotel. It just goes like straight into woodland. And there's like bunny rabbits hopping through it this morning. It's really quite sweet. When the sun's out, it's not so bad here. Anyway, I've got to grab my bag and go and check out, give my key back. Hannah and Liam will be here in any minute. And then, go to the garden. I've got to meet Mum at the train station and then we're going to have a proper look around the gardens. So I will see you then. Just go and do a whiz round check I've got everything.
Too much on this day, up to 16 degrees Celsius, so it might be cooler than Wednesday. A few more spells are ready to come, but eventually turning drier this evening, fairly cloudy.
After Silver. You just touched it, you fiend. So if we went round every single garden on this vlog, we'd have about 4 vlogs worth of stuff, but there's 2 that I particularly wanted to show you, and the first one is this one, which is Adam Frost's kitchen garden. It is a piece of majesty. I was listening to him talk about it last night, where he had kind of imagined this character of a young chef who had moved into his grandfather's house after his grandfather had died, and it started off growing flowers like his grandfather had, and then he kind of slowly evolved into vegetables because obviously he was really interested in food, and then he created this outdoor kitchen and started growing more food, and it was just such a interesting way to design a garden by kind of coming up with this character, and I absolutely love it. There's a really wonderful mixture of things being grown in rows, like is kind of traditional for functional plants like that, and then there's this like chaos, like these beans right in the middle of the thistles and the lupins and herbs just scattered in everywhere, and then you return back to lines, and there's just something really magical about it, and I loved this garden a lot. The kitchen area is incredible, and I'm just so jealous. I would love this myself. But also, the guy who grew the vegetables for him, I mean, look at these tomatoes. It's amazing. I'd also like to throw in that this is just 2 gardens over from us at Hannah's, and we watched as they were building this. And Frosty really got stuck in, and he was planting up with the rest of them, so I was well impressed with him in general. And this garden. And there's another thing I'd like to show you in the floral marquee, which is this vegetable stand. I know, I like to stick to a theme. But this stand is incredible. These vegetables are looking so good. And if you think about the year we've had so far with all its ups and downs, and just these are wonderful. And the selection on here is wonderful. First, how great is the texture on this patio plum tomato leaf? Really dense. And they're growing all sorts of exciting things in here. They've got wasabi and sweet potatoes, loofahs, some really fantastic beans, a whole load of tomato varieties. Obviously they've got aubergines already, there's chilies, and the stand itself is so well put together. I would say something that I am slightly disappointed about BBC Gardeners World Live is firstly it's very small, which is fine. You know, small can be good, but there was a limited number of vegetables here. Luckily, this one just stood out and kind of made up for the lack of them. Look at this beautiful blue chilli, or purple chilli, gorgeous. And they've got all these wonderful beans along here. They've got amaranth in the background, and there's the beautiful tree spinach that we've got all over the allotment because it self-seeds like a crazy. Artichokes. Yeah, it's just lovely. And even like the parsley looks great. You've got cucamelons. Oh look, tromboncinos! Well hey, no exotics would be complete without tromboncinos. Potatoes, oh, there's the asparagus pea of doom. Stay well clear of that, but it is very beautiful, so I understand why they've included it. But yeah, this was one I was really, really impressed with. Cabbages, onions, look at the size of those onions. But I would say overall, that was the three things I was most impressed with. Hannah's stand, obviously, Frosty, and this one. I was more excited about what was going on inside the arena because there was a food festival.
There we are, sir. 20 quid, please. Cash or card? Tag us in, actually farmer's time. Who's having a taste of my lovely cider? Come on.
Mushroom crisps! Oh, wow. Oh, and this I'm well excited about. So, I've been looking for, well, the mushroom plant's really exciting, but this is the one, the olive herb. I have been looking for this for ages. I'm well excited about that. And I'll take a mushroom plant too. More cider. More cider. Just asking Mum if she enjoyed herself, which she did. And now, chaps, it's home time. Boy, am I happy to be home. Hey, sausage? She seems about like twice the size as she did when we left. Oh, you smell so good. See, the lawn's been cut out the front. She's been lying on it. So she smells like fresh cut grass again. Yeah, so fairly successful trip to Birmingham, I would say. Gardeners World was a bit of a strange one, I think. I've never been before. It's my first time there, and it was a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Hello, darling. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. And the gardens, apart from Frosty's, which was massive, all the rest of them were very domestic size, which is, do you want to go back in the garden? Go back? Yes, I think so. Yeah, I've really missed that cat. Yeah, a lot of them are really domestic size. There's things called beautiful borders was like, I would say probably the majority of the gardens there were under a category called beautiful borders, which were, I think, 1 metre by 3 metres. Anyway, they were really, really tiny, which I think was really good in one sense because it makes it much more domestic, like something that you can pretty much transfer from a show into your own garden. But at the same time, I felt it was a little bit, I wanted some more, basically. But I would definitely say the best bit about the whole experience was meeting people, but both people who were working on the gardens, so the days before like the general public and stuff were allowed in. Some really, really fantastic people on those days. But also the first day, because I was only there on the Thursday when was the first day that it was open. Met some brilliant people, and so many people like said hello, which was really, really nice. And this happened, which has never happened to me before, and I suspect will never happen again, but it was pretty joyous. Yep, that is me being asked to sign something. Yeah, so thanks Felix for that, absolutely made my day. Yeah, so I would say overall the experience of BBC Gardeners World was fantastic people. It was really good. The guys who were working there, like who were actually on site, the guys who had the diggers and stuff, I mean, they could not have done more for you. They were absolutely brilliant. They've got so many places they've got to be at once. Like all these people stressing out, trying to get their gardens ready. And all they have to do is like, can you be here at in 15 minutes to dump soil? Can you be here to pick up this? Can you do this? Absolutely calm as anything, and just got on with it. They were brilliant. Other than the food hall, which was brilliant. So many different types of cider to try. I've taken so many leaflets home with me. I'm going to be like ordering online. Taking away from that, I would say the stands at BBC Gardeners World Live, I wasn't wildly impressed with. It was Johanna's birthday like 2 weeks ago, and I was thinking that it would be handy because she's been in Spain for a couple of weeks. So I was like, that's great. I'll be at Gardeners World Live. I'll be able to find something there for her, you know, because it's going to have hundreds of stalls, all garden related. I couldn't find anything. Thought it was a bit disappointing on that front. But I would say Hannah's garden was a highlight for me. I really enjoy working with Hannah. We work quite well together, so that was good. Oh, but one thing I did find was, what did I do with them? I think I meant in the garden. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I'd stuck them out here. So these two little chaps, which is the olive herb and the mushroom plant. So the mushroom plant I've had before. I bought years ago. I bought one at Hampton Court Flower Show. Love it. The leaves just taste exactly like mushrooms. Really, really nice. So I'm really pleased to have found another one. But this is the one, the olive herb. I'd first seen it on Instagram, actually. It's like, I think it's Santanella, and you chop the leaves and they taste really olivey, like you can put them on pizzas and that kind of stuff. And the company, I'm trying to remember what they're called. I'll put them up here because I've completely forgotten. I'm really sorry. But the guy's called Andy, and I've seen him on Instagram, and they run the herb business themselves, and I'd seen it on there, and then I tried to order it and they'd run out, and anyway, they were there. Oddly not at the Gardeners World bit, but actually in the food section, but still I'm thrilled with that. Anyway, it is back to allotmenting tomorrow, and we'll be doing a plot tour. I'm hoping this weather's going to hold. It's absolutely glorious right now. I know we're back in the car, but I promise we're just on our way to pick up compost, and then we're at the allotment. Is it for you? Yep. The little compost cave. This is the shop associated with our nearest other allotment site, where we pick up our compost from. So we want another bag of Silver Grow. Do you? Oh, you're in here. I didn't even know that. All right. I'm just scared, Mum. We also want some country natural, well-rotted horse manure to use as mulch. Disaster! The card machine's not working, and obviously nobody carries cash on them anymore, so I'm just going to run back to the house and get some money. Not going to make Mum reverse all the way back out of here again, so I'm going to run. And by run, I mean walk in a hurried fashion, obviously. Mission complete, paper money. Got it. Cool. I might have to take the top off, hey? Do a couple more squats with that. Okay, done. What's it like? It's amazing. Do you want me to show them up on the tree? I've just picked one of these cherries off the floor to taste it. This isn't part of the allotment. This is actually in somebody's back garden, but it's just hanging over the driveway. Look at that. They're incredible. That cherry tree is outrageous. And nothing seems to have eaten them. Yeah, okay. And now we're off to the allotment. However, a second ago it was sunny. Now the black clouds have come over again. It's just getting darker by the second. We might be doing plot tour in the rain, chaps. Steamy after that rain. This is looking incredibly lush. I feel like you're in a cave or something. And here we are, back in our natural habitat. Yes, I've only been away, what, 6 days, 5 days, 6 days. Well, it's been 6 days since I've been up here. And so much has changed. So I'm quite excited to do a plot tour because it's the best way of doing like sort of like a stock take, you know, check what's going on, what you need to do. This weather, seriously. Now it's raining. I turned the camera on just then, it was sunny. I'm doing this, now it's raining. So I'm retreated into the shed just for a mow. I don't think it's going to last very long. Oh, it's getting heavier. It's getting heavier, great. But I'll start the tour from inside here for what we can see, because the jasmine that we've got growing up here and the Akebia quinata is looking so lush. Is it stopped enough for me to peek out? Yeah, look at the amount of bud on this. I mean, when we first planted this, we put this old piece of trellis up here that I'd actually got from a job. It had come down in the wind in someone's garden and they wanted it completely replaced. So obviously I had to find a home for it. And we stuck in, what was it, 4 plants initially down this edge. And that was an Akebia quinata, which is a chocolate vine, which is just beautiful, with these really, really lovely, like 5-prong leaves. Gorgeous. We also stuck in a jasmine clotted cream, so it's got these really pale, like creamy coloured flowers and smells unbelievable like jasmine does normally. We also put in a clematis at the far end, and there was another thing that we put a actinidia in, the one with the pink dip leaves. That's the only one that hasn't survived, and I'm absolutely amazed because we're right under the oak tree here and we've never managed to get anything to grow under there before. So yeah, I'm thrilled, and it's slowly starting to do what it's supposed to do, which is grow partly over the tunnel into the chicken house. So if you can see up there, I want to cover the back end of the chicken house. Oh look, there you can see the clematis. But yeah, quite honestly, I'm really chuffed with how well that's grown. Predominantly the Akebia and the jasmine, but they've formed a really, really good hedge, basically. And before, we were completely open to the path here. There wasn't even a barrier where I've put that trellis. So yeah, it's really changed the feeling of this end of the plot. It's like really enclosed and cozy right around the shed area, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm chuffed with that. And the rain has stopped. The old apple trees are looking actually lusher than they have done for years. Put on some really nice growth. We've got some apples on them. I'm really quite pleased with that. The ballerina, which is this other apple here, which produces green apples, doesn't have a single apple on it this year, but you win some and you lose some. Talking of losing some though, the pineapple mint is doing all right under there, but our normal mint that everyone says don't plant in the ground because it will take over, look how much of it there is. Every time it's coming up, it's trying. Something is eating it off. Look, it's trying there. Oh, look at this little chap. Yeah, so I don't know what to do about the mint. I would love it to rampage. I mean, if that whole area was taken over by mint, I'd be a happy bunny rabbit. Just can't get it to grow. Unfortunately, this area has become a little bit of a dumping ground temporarily, which is a bit of a shame. The dahlia is up on this side, which is nice. This is the bright, bright pink one. We've got a rogue poppy just firing up into the sky there. Good news in this corner, though, is that the foxhole has been abandoned. There's not any new footprints or anything, and the hole hasn't been redug after the second time. So that's really positive. Oh, Oh, that's fantastic. I was just about to say that I'm really sad because it looks like the mulberry tree has fully converted to male. I'll talk more about that at a later date because it's had a bit of a sex change, and they do that. It's gone from female, so producing fruit, to just having male flowers. But just when I was crouching down there looking at the foxhole, or lack of foxhole, there is actually some fruit on it. Not very many, and they're really low down. But I'm going to have a bit of a look around inside and see if I can see any more. So I can see a couple of little clusters. See those ones there? They are the female bits. These here, I don't know if you can see that, it's a bit cramped under here, but these things are what's left of, come on, focus. These things are what's left of the male flowers that come out earlier than the female ones. But yeah, I can see a couple of little clumps. So not all is lost on the mulberry front. Okay, let's have a look in the greenhouse. The forest of tomatoes, they're all looking really healthy. They're not huge and they're ready to go in, really. But obviously polytunnel is not ready to receive them. We have had a couple of casualties. A few of them were bitten off. This one looks like it might actually do something, but some of them just completely gone. This one has recovered, which is nice, but you can see it's been really stunted and it's now got 2 heads. But the rest of them are looking really, really nice. Got some cabbages here that are ready to go. The beetroot that I sowed last week is all coming up. There's more beetroot in here. The chickpeas have just started, just here and here. We have got loads of basil that needs to go out, but that's going into the polytunnel, and I've got more to sow. This is the little purple ball basil. We've got the lettuce leaf basil. You can see that that's already getting those like lovely large crinkly leaves. This is normal sweet basil. Thai basil with the pointy leaf, lovely. Oh, and there's some parsley in the end. More parsley here, and Ishikura spring onions that need to go out. Spinach coming up nicely. You see these weeds here. This is because, you know, I've been doing the mix of compost, which is our own compost, and the silver grow. Well, our own compost is full of weed seeds. But runner beans are ready to go out. What have we got in that side? Oh, they're the Bruno beans. They're the really long, tall, skinny beans. They're looking good too, so they will both be going out this week. These are the sunshine beans. These are being kept for a friend of mine. And we've got flowers that desperately need to go out. Lots of bits and pieces underneath here, mostly brassicas, and mostly they got absolutely munched by a slug army. We've got one bean in the centre. We've got some purple sprouting broccoli, which is looking good. But I mean, look at the majority of these. Absolutely slugged. We also have some aubergines. These need to be potted up, and we've got some nice looking peppers. These have finally started to grow. This is the Korean one, that's from JB. So is Champion. My beautiful lemon drop at the back there. This is also, and then an aroma. So we've got some coming on, but look at the size of them. For being planted in January, that is just outrageous. They're tiny. But it seems like it's just been one of those years. Like, so much stuff has been eaten or just never started growing in the first place. So anyway, I'm not displeased with what's going on in here. I've got a load more stuff to continue sowing this week. Oh, and now the sun's coming out and it's hot. Yeah, we need to do a bit of more sowing outside. Actually, I've got to sow carrots. Hang on, I'm not doing that. I'm doing a plot tour. Plot tour. Let's have a look at some beds. Oh, the beautiful sunshine. Everything looks better in the sunshine, except possibly this bed here. This needs to be cleared. These are the field beans. We tend to use them as a ladybird breeding ground. They get an awful lot of black fly and then they get covered in ladybirds, which this was, in fact, just the other day. So I think a lot of them have hatched. But that is ready to be cleared and stripped. We still have a bit of Lucullus chard down here, which is still good to eat. This one has bolted, but it's still got some good leaves on it. And this is my chicory that I have been waiting to flower. It's so tall, but look at these flowers. Aren't they beautiful? And when this whole thing is just like an absolute forest of that blue, it is a joy. The couple of potatoes that we put in pots are looking really healthy, got some flowers on them. Shallots don't look terrible at the back there. The garlic is looking pretty terrible, but we've got a couple of scapes on them. So we'll be able to eat those, which is nice. But yeah, they're looking really sad. They've got a lot of rust and just all round not the best. But have a look at this with the potatoes. It's funny how this happens. We've got these beautiful lush ones that I was just showing you, you know, lovely with the flowers on. Well, look at their neighbour. Been completely stripped. It's a skeleton potato. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Look, that's how close they are. 1, 2, 3. They all looked very similar just the other day. Got some calendula coming up in here. There's a really pretty little nasturtium down here. Look at that gorgeousness. Isn't that a beauty? It's got pale yellow on the back. Look, oh, it's just lovely. Asparagus bed, which is doubling up as a nasturtium bed, as you can see. But yeah, so we stopped picking the asparagus a couple of weeks ago, and that is all growing into its nice little spears. The sorrel is growing nicely. The girlies have been attacking it, so it's looking a little bit ragged, but that will recover. That's on its 6th year, I think, now. Such a reliable little chap, that one. We cover it over in the winter just to protect it, but I don't think it really needs it. Under this little Enviromesh box, we've got some lettuces that are all looking pretty good. We've got an iceberg there and a cost type. I believe it is Valmain and Beauregard. Unfortunately, between these ones and the ones that I've just sown, we're going to have a bit of a gap because the 2 sowings that happened between them both got slugged. Succession sowing only works if the slugs let you. So the theme of this tour really is going to be a lot of clearance. Like, we've got brassicas still left in this bed, which have got nothing left on them. They just need to be cleared. There's a little bit of Cavallonero over there. Actually, one of them still looks pretty decent. We'll be able to eat what's on that. And then parsley on this end has gone to seed, but it's so pretty, I shall be leaving it. Look at that, beautiful. That's just gorgeous. Miraculously, the beans seem to have transplanted really well. We have got Sunshine on this end, and then Cobra, and then Violetto. So that's the 3 sets of French beans in there. Normally, I have a terrible time planting out the beans. They always sulk. They look great in their pots, sorry. They look great in their pots, and then I put them out and they either get eaten or they just sulk for weeks and don't do any growing, and then they kick off. I mean, I'm going to touch bamboo here, but they seem to have transplanted really well this year. So I'm proper happy with that. And they're just starting to cling on to the frame now, so they should rocket up really shortly. And then I've also got this week to put the runner beans and the Bruno beans in at the other end of the arches. First of the new brassica beds, we've got Savoy cabbage in that end, red cabbage in the middle, and some red kale at this end. You can't really see it against the soil, but they are looking pretty healthy. On the other side of the arch, I have got more of the red curly kale just in there. And I don't know if you remember, we planted out Mizuna and Komatsuna in here. The Komatsuna has just about survived, although there's a big slug gap at this end. There is about 2 Mizuna left. The self-seeded rocket that's dotted around the plot is all looking fab. So I think there's plenty of rocket salads in my near future. This is the Iranian cress under there, which is ready to be picked. Should have really been picked before the flowers, but never mind. And on that side is the sweet corn, which is actually looking really quite strong. The peas that were sown just before we went to Birmingham are just starting to come up. You can see they're just making an appearance. I'm pleased to say the ground is completely undisturbed, which tends to suggest that mice haven't been through and nicked most of them, which is what happened to the last lot. Courgettes are also doing okay. We've actually just got them hiding under here at the moment, just because it's been so windy, but they're looking all right. They seem to have settled in quite well. We've got 4 of them there. But the little Bianchi, oh, it's blooming raining again. Oh, this weather is nuts. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but the little Bianchi ones that I had to re-sow because slugage, they haven't appeared, which is a bit of a worry. And the courgettes look a lot healthier than the tromboncino that I planted out on the same day. That guy is just here. Look, he looks a bit sad, doesn't he? I mean, he's had at least 2 leaves taken off by a slug, and they've had a munch on there, but hopefully he will crack on soon. This bed's looking pretty strong. Something I do need to do is to cut the tail end of all these bits of flower off the 9-star broccoli. Just take it straight back to leaf so that it's ready to go again next year and put on some nice new growth. But this bed is actually looking pretty good. These are the beetroot that I planted out just the other day that were looking really sad in their trays. They're coming on a treat. The spring onions are looking gorgeous. The turnips are looking really nice. And the ones that we sowed next to them have all come up. So that's pretty handy. First wave of chickpeas also looking pretty decent. But it's like blue sky. Oh no, not above us, it's not. Field beans in here, which we forgot to take out. So they just need to be whipped out like the ones at the other end of the plot. Oh, you can see, look. They're always covered in ladybirds. This chard needs to be stripped and removed. Another thing on the clearance list is the white sprouting broccoli. Look how pretty those flowers are. Aren't they just lovely? They would be prettier if they weren't mangled in this netting. But, yep, that is ready to be cleared and stripped. This end of the bed, we've got fennel frond, you know, for chopping into salads and stuff. So that's looking really nice. And this, chaps, is something that I am wildly excited about. Look at that. I absolutely love artichokes, and we've had, I can't even think how many times we've tried to grow them in the past. This little chap has been in this bed for maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years, done nothing. And now we've got an actual artichoke on the top of it, which is the first time ever. And I don't even know what to do with myself. I don't know whether to pick it and try and eat it. I know they take a lot of prep, but the excitement is kind of crippling me at the moment, so I've just left it. If anyone's got any experience with actually harvesting and processing artichokes, hit me up. Now the potatoes is a bit of a sorry tale. You know, we dug that one out the other day that was looking really sad, and then we decided that it was probably a magnesium deficiency. Well, these have all been treated with Epsom salts, but I'm just really not that happy with how they're looking. I mean, look at the stems. That doesn't look good, does it? Do we think blight, or do we not think blight? I mean, it looks blighty to me, except that it's not spreading like you would expect blight to spread. Peppermint chard under this box is looking in a terrible state. That all needs to be ripped out. A load of things that have gone to seed. We've got some leeks from last year that have gone to seed that never really did anything. Lily! Long time no see, madam. Long time no see. What you been up to? What you been up to? Huh? There is also some chicory in here, which has also sadly gone to seed. Broad beans looking pretty good. There's a couple of yellow ones in the middle there actually, but we will be picking them later today. Second bed of potatoes. You see, they don't look well, but at the same time, they don't look sick enough to be blight. The carrots and coriander that we sowed, so it's carrot, coriander, carrot, and then the pak choi that we bought as plug plants has all bolted. Still easily usable as bolted because their stems don't go that tough, so we will be using that this week. But yeah, it's basically gone. But these two are looking lovely, and as soon as I've ripped the pak choi out, I will be getting another couple of rows of carrots in there. So the other thing that needs talking about is a polytunnel update, and I've got to say, we bought that compost today. As you can see, we've just dumped it in here, the stuff from the allotment shop. But we are all ready to go on the cover for this. It's all sat there waiting. But not only have I been away for the last couple of days, but I'm having to like shield the microphone here because it is so windy. It has been windy for 4 weeks, and we need a still day to deal with a 6-meter sheet of polythene. The forecast is telling me that the wind is supposed to drop in the next week, so I'm hoping that next week we'll be able to get this on. It's totally ready to do, and it has been for quite a long time now. It's just, there's no way the two of us can handle that much sheet plastic in the wind. It's just not going to happen. So that is on the back burner, but only just because we are waiting for the day that it's not windy, and we'll race up here and do it. I mean, it's only half a day's job. It's not a huge thing. It's just, it needs to be the right day, because otherwise we just rip everything and it'll be baggy. And we don't want that. Ripped and baggy is not the look we're going for on the polytunnel. And so, yeah, I think, chaps, that is what we look like mid-June. We're behind in some stuff and we're ahead in others. So pretty much a standard gardening year then. Apart from the slugs. I tell you what, up at BBC Gardeners World when I was up there, when we had the awards thing, you know, and everyone's standing around with their bit of fizz, the main topic of conversation was slugs. Slugs and poor weather. It's been pants. Anyway, I need to go and pick those broad beans. So I had to cut half that plot tour out, which was basically the fruit and the flowers, and there's a lot going on in both at the moment. Fruit trees in the fruit cage, and then the dahlias and all of that kind of stuff in the wildflowers. However, this video was spiralling into like over the hour mark, and so far I've not gone over the hour mark. So I'm not planning to start now. That's my rule. I don't go over an hour. I aim for about 45 minutes, and this one I believe is well into the 50s. So yeah, those bits have been shunted into next week's video. So there will be a bit of a review of the fruit and flowers situation on plot 37 at the beginning of next week's vlog. So all that's left to say really is cheers, chaps. Oh, that's good. It is cheers to my patrons, who are the people whose names you see at the end of every video. They are the people that keep this vlog going. I know I say that every week, but it is absolutely true. They put up with me being late for things and missing messages and all sorts of stuff. They are just incredible. So huge thank you to them, as always. A big cheers to Hannah with her silver medal. I think that's pretty good. First judged garden. Silver medal. Cheers, Hannah. So next week we are pretty much back to normal. We've got no trips away. We're not going anywhere. It's going to be hopefully a bit of sunshine. Hopefully not too much wind. We'll get the polytunnel cover. Cheers, chaps. Thank you for watching again. See you next week.